Hi, I'm Jason Gray, and in this book breakdown, we're going to be looking at the Swordless Samurai. Are you someone that's interested in the history of Japan in the 1500s? Are you someone who maybe wants to become a better leader or look at some leadership principles to help you along in your business, your job, your schooling? Or are you someone that's just curious to learn something new? If you said yes to any of those questions, this book is a great, easy read, a great pickup. It's a history lesson, mainly focusing on some leadership principles, told in a story mode, which the author created himself based off of some scrolls and things that were found in the 1500s. I've quite enjoyed it. It's my second time reading this in the last 4 or 5 years, and we're going to break down some of the tips in just a second. Alright, well, as you guys can see, I have a lot of pages marked here to share with you. So this video might go a little bit longer than some of the others. That's okay, fast forward if you want to get to the end of it. But I think there are a lot of reminders in this book and a lot of principles that we can really look at, see through this leader's experience, and then go ahead and apply it ourselves. So the first thing we're going to talk about is leadership lies in serving others, not being served, okay? And a leader comes from a place of gratitude. That's why they devote themselves to others. So a reminder is, leadership isn't all about title and who gets paid more. It's about who steps up more, who looks to serve others more, and in return, they get marked a leader by others. Now, where have you seen that in your life? Feel free to share some comments below here. But was it someone stepping up to coordinate the parent meeting or the Super Bowl party? Or is it an actual business meeting? Or is it your entry or mid-level employee and there's a high-level task that several other people are supposed to be doing, but it's not getting done? And instead of complaining and being negative about it, you might have the skill set, you just step up and get it done. Or maybe you coordinate the best people to get that done. That's a leader, right? On the team, it's the captain. It's the person that pushes harder, cheers the people on more. It's the person that really is the example, okay? Leaders must work harder than others. In a leadership role, you are in a fish tank. People are always looking at you, seeing what you're doing, even after you give them their orders, and they're figuring out, well, why would I do it if you're not doing it? Or they don't do anything except for bark orders, and here we are doing everything. So a leader must work harder than others. Check this out. I was beginning to understand that viewing experience as either good or bad is meaningless, right? The only thing that mattered was drawing lessons from them. I heard this the other day. I think it was post-fight Manny Pacquiao. Keith Thurman said this. It's either going to be a blessing or a lesson. And since Keith lost, he said, today was a lesson. Hey, sheer effort enables those with nothing to surpass those with privilege and position. This is the secret of striving. Leaders must work harder than others. So the story of this book, when you get into it, it's about a guy who was homely looking, small in stature, raised poor, no name, no experience, nothing. And he was the person that became the leader who united Japan and conquered the lands. Unheard of at those times. I mean, someone to even have any role in a famous house or clan back then only did so through bloodline. And so how the heck does someone with millions of odds against him end up being the leader that does it for Japan? And it's these principles and the story that gets shared in this book. All right, let's move on here to the next part, if we may. I've always been self-conscious about my appearance, but leaders must learn to turn drawbacks into advantages. Okay? How can you use your drawback and turn into advantage? Also, how can you look for the positive in everything? Put the positive spin on it. Remember, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react. Gratitude, devotion, hard work, and bold action These words trip easily off the tongue, but they forge the soul of a samurai and lie at the heart of leadership. Practice them and you will transform your life as I did. Wow, powerful, isn't it? All right, next one. Hey, when you are growing, when you're looking to go to college or get another degree or get a raise or just learn in any area of your life, mentorship and coaching is going to do the world of wonders from you. But who is your mentor? Who is your coach? Who is the leader you're following? See, choosing the right leader to follow is the most profound career decision a person can make. Now I will reveal the criteria I use when choosing Lord Nobunaga as my master and the methods by which I distinguish myself in his service. Learn my secrets and you can do the same. So having the right leader is ultra important. And even people that love you, mom, dad, sister, brother, cousin, uncle, neighbor, they might not be the best mentor or coach for you in certain areas if they haven't proved successful in those endeavors. If they're divorced 4 times over and single now and they're trying to give you the best marriage advice ever, they might know a little something about what doesn't work and you can heed that advice, but to be the example of marriage, obviously that's not them. So choose a leader with vision. If you start your career with nothing, as this person did, your best bet for getting ahead is to find an outstanding leader to serve. And Gary Vaynerchuk, who is a mentor of mine from afar just through his books and videos and all that, he's always talking about people that are looking to get a start. You're better off to offer a lot of service to someone, even if you do it for free. You say, hey Gary, I'd like to work for you for 6 months free. I'll provide this, and this, which by the way, what they're offering to provide is something they know he needs or likes. And I just want to be around you and learn from you. Now, most people are going to be willing to accept something like that. Now you're close to them, you're in the inner circle or getting there, and you get all the mentorship and coaching, which should be and could be, if it's the right person, 100 times more valuable than a simple entry-level check. Now, of course, your financial situation, you have to figure out a way to keep moving forward, but that is a great idea. So a leader is someone with a clear vision of better times who can articulate that vision and inspire confidence in others. And to be honest with you, this is one of the things I was working on, and I still am working on, is how do you sell your vision? How do you explain it clearly? How do you make sure you have an authentic vision, but one that's big enough to include a lot of others for your big mission? So vision and choice. Great leaders can be wrong, but they cannot be unclear. All right? A steadfast, focused vision of the future, one that inspires hope and confidence among followers, is the mark of true leadership. So ultra clear, everyone can understand what's going on there, and you got to stick to it during the good times and the bad times, when you look like you're on track or when you're not. I had a friend that had a goal of achieving 1,800 transactions, and in 1 year, in the first 3 months he had achieved like 40. So it looked impossible. But you know, all the work and all the pipelines and things that he was creating was just multiplying and building up, that wouldn't you know it, by the end of the year he surpassed 1,800. And I heard this the other day too, is sometimes it may not look or seem logical, but there's people that have stayed the course during those periods because of their vision, their drive, the way they felt it in their gut. And guess what? Now it's beyond their wildest imaginations, the results they got. So follow a good plan, follow your vision, put more and more into it, and it will happen. Remember, the people with whom you choose to associate shape the trajectory of your life more than the activities in which you choose to engage. All right, got cut off there, but now we're back. All right, greatness as a leader is measured in part by your willingness to accept daunting challenges. Achieving tough goals requires practicing the secret of commitment. Risk all to win all. Hey, Steve Harvey's talked about it, a lot of successful people have talked about it. You just gotta jump. Sometimes you have to see the huge task and the big risk, but you feel in your heart like this is where you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to do, and you just gotta jump, you just gotta go for it. Here's a vital lesson I learned. Even though your own needs may be great, you improve your prospects by considering the needs of others first. So what's in it for them? What do they really need? How can you give more value? How can you be of service? Because that's the role of a leader, right? And the more you do that, the more it comes back to you. And there's a couple great examples in here which would blow your mind on what he did for others to get him way ahead in the future. Leadership demands effective public announcements and self-promotion. Look, if no one knows about what you have going on, how are you going to be able to help someone? You have the cure for cancer, but no one knows about it. Well, like, what good is it, right? So you have to have the right channels of promotion and announcement. A lot of times it's going to start with you. And the key to boosting morale is building kinship with those in the trenches. You know, a lot of times as leadership grows and an organization grows, the leaders can be so far removed from the end client or even the service level employees, but they can't keep that distance. They got to get in the trenches, know exactly how it's going on today and how those people are feeling, and build kinship with them. Despite some popular demand that will say, oh, don't fellowship, don't party, don't potluck with some of these people, don't mix business and pleasure. A lot of that is crap. So there's someone here talking about the person in the story, and he says, except with respect to praise and reward, he praised even minor achievements by the lowliest vassals and rewarded significant accomplishments beyond expectation. So look for reasons to appreciate, reward, acknowledge someone, even on the littlest things, and then on the biggest things, go above and beyond your recognition. People are acquisitive by nature, but they also yearn for honor. And as a rule, the most talented employees prize recognition above material reward. Leaders adept at stimulating the desire for recognition will soon attract devoted followers. So who haven't you recognized lately? Go ahead and make sure you recognize them, make them feel great. One of the best ways to recognize performance and to demonstrate your thoughtfulness is to write letters by hand or a thank you card. And after becoming a samurai, I made a point of writing and sending a letter nearly every day. And one of my mentors, Mike Tuttle, he was huge on that, and that's helped propel him into significant financial independence through extremely strong relationships, always writing letters, making people feel special, going above and beyond. And in turn, he had a lot of great relationships that led him to other great people who built him a big business. Leaders who surround themselves exclusively with like-minded advisors invite tragedy. You can't always have yes men in your group. You can't have people that think just like you. Now, on some core beliefs and values, that might be okay. But as far as skill set and exact thoughts, no. You need diversity. You need to know other points of view. You need to see your blind spots through others. Some people close their work lives to their spouse. But why deny yourself the counsel of the person who knows you best? Wise leaders practice the secret of the confident. Heed your spouse's advice. That's why we encourage partnership in our business. I mean, we have partners and spouses come into a lot of training meetings or financial wellness workshops. We get them recognized. They come on company trips if they're the winners, because it's hard to truly separate everything, and you spend so much time in your work life or as a leader that it can get lonely. You need some extra support, and the person that knows you best can really be probably the best filter for your blind spots. Here's the myth of heroic leadership. Okay, now listen to this. Popular accounts often hold that a daring leader single-handedly accomplished this or that. Like myths from the past, tales of heroic leadership capture the imagination. But the reality of leadership is less romantic. No leader can accomplish great work alone. All require expert advice. And I'll go further, an expert team. No one does it alone. Mine is the name in history that will be remembered, but without advisors such as One, Hidanaga, Koroku, and Hanamai, I might have passed into obscurity. I was lucky to find them, but equally wise to seek their counsel in the first place. Last three, guys. Building your organization. The story of my ascendance to leadership is the story of capitalizing on skills of capable people, especially those who themselves were potential leaders. Together, we outmaneuvered or subsumed every rival. But besting competitors is only half the battle. History is rife with successful leaders who, having reached the top, paved the way to their own ruin by growing complacent and disconnected from the community. Those leaders who pursue only their own interests will eventually fall. Any organization seeking long-term success must give back to the community from which it sprang, as both share common soil. What ails one inevitably afflicts the other. If you are to grow, you must grow together. Last two. All right. Do you want to see your organization grow? Then practice the secret of multiplying yourself. Employ leaders, not just followers. So in your recruiting and training and developing efforts, you look for leaders and you develop them further, and you give them a task or a target and let them run with it. Too often, people will recruit C, D, E level players because they're easier to find, easier to persuade, easier to get on board. But then you always got to hold them by the hand. They barely do anything. If you're lucky, they do the bare minimum. In any organization, you want the A players, the B players, you want the starters and the bench, and you want to make sure that they're a great fit and that they too can keep growing and lead and multiply your efforts, not drag you down. And the Swordless Samurai says, "My failures were many, but to dwell unceasingly on mistakes is simply to commit another. Pessimism is a losing strategy. Leadership demands both confidence and optimism in abundance. Those are precisely the qualities that enabled me to rise to the highest position in the land." Hey guys, thanks for hanging in there. Love this book. Let me know what your favorite takeaway was or point that was made there, and any stories or anecdotes you have that are related to this in your own ascension to leadership, fame, fortune, living the lifestyle you really want. And until next time, join me in the pursuit of greatness.